As the Hogwarts Express carried him and his friends back to King's Cross Station, Harry recalled something Professor Dumbledore had said.
You think the dead we loved ever truly leave us? You think that we don't recall them more clearly than ever in times of great trouble? Your father is alive in you, Harry, and shows himself most plainly when you have need of him.
And that was Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. And now for the review of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Just so you guys know, this is actually post-commentary now. I've been putting a lot of consideration into this review. I did originally have some sort of little rant here over the footage in the live commentary, but I cut that because it felt rather biased. Now, I'm gonna try to make this a bit more of a balanced review, looking at both the pros and cons rather than just the cons. But we should start with the cons, since that's mainly what I saw with this game. There's too many problems with this game. The first two games, at least on the PC, I'm told that the PC versus the console versions of Harry Potter are actually very different for the first, second, and third games, and are in fact made by separate developers. But I've only played the PC version, so I can't really know that for sure. But what I do know is that for the first and second PC versions of Harry Potter, they focused a lot on the story. The traveling around, exploring, collecting stuff, that was kind of a little side thing to keep you entertained, to make you look for stuff while you're learning and being embedded in the story that is Harry Potter. And the first two games did a really good job. They left a few points out, but for the most part, you were able to follow along with the story. You were able to see where the story was going. This game had none of that. The 2 hours that were actually story occurred near the end of the book. There's no lead up. It doesn't talk about any of the lead up to those points. It doesn't talk really about anything except for, oh, you're getting captured. Ron is getting captured by this giant dog that we've been seeing throughout the game. I don't know anything about the dog. We don't know anything about Crookshanks. There's a lot wrong with the story development of this game, and it completely just throws the player. If he has no idea what the third book is about, if he has no idea what the third storyline is about, he's lost completely out the window. He's like, what the hell's this? Suddenly this dog that we've been seeing is Sirius Black. Okay, and apparently Professor Lupin is in league with him or something? What is going on? They never say that they were friends. Lupin and Sirius Black and James Potter, Harry Potter's father, were friends way back in the day, and that is explained in the third book, as well as the little rat who is originally Scabbers but turns into, I don't even remember what that pudgy guy's name was. But, yeah, so Sirius Black gets blamed for everything. That part they made clear. But there's so much they don't explain. There's so much where you're just looking at it going, ugh! As someone who's read the book, I'm looking at this going, where is everything? Where's all the story? Where is all the content? There's nothing! Absolutely nothing! So yeah, story-wise, this game sucked. There's about, I want to say 600 pages in the third book. I'd say this game covers about 250 of them. Maybe. 200 max. It does a really poor job of covering the story. So yeah. As far as gameplay is concerned, it's actually a bit of a drop. A bit of a step down from the second game. The second game, they knew how to make things controlled. They did an amazing job with the controls. Except for the auto-aim. The auto-aim was a little bit kind of too much, but it was easy to adjust to. This game, the movement for the most part was pretty good. It was overall it was fairly smooth. But they had that one thing which drives me up the wall. They decided to put an auto-centering, and that is a no-no on a PC game. I don't care how consoleized you made it in before, especially since this developer was actually strictly for the PC. Now that I know that. This is a PC game. You don't put auto-centering when you're running around. Yeah, I can understand doing that in vehicles, but we never drove it. We never drove anything. We flew. And that's something I'm going to get into later. The auto-centering bugged me so much in this game. It made me so frustrated all the time. I was able to compensate for it most of the time, but I shouldn't have to compensate for something like that. That is a crappy mechanic that should not have been in there in the first place. If you want people to explore, that's another thing that I'm going to get into later. If you want people to explore, you do not focus where they are looking all of the damn time when they are walking. You let them look around as they are moving around. Really bugged me about this game. The spell casting was okay. I kind of missed the whole hovering over and making a little spell sign, but you know, I'm sure a lot of people don't miss that. That's fine. I don't mind if they took that out. But I feel like it adds a little bit of familiarity to the spell, like you're making a sort of connection with it. That's just a personal thing, so I don't mind that they took that out at all. I remember the first game, it was absolutely horrible trying to actually make the symbols. Second game, they improved that. They improved that pretty well. This game, they just decided, people are complaining too much about it, let's toss it out the window. And they did. And I'm totally cool with that. Now, exploration. This is perhaps one of the things that has really grown in the Harry Potter series, at least up to this point. First game was mostly about the story. There wasn't a whole lot you could do to explore, really. There wasn't really any open worldness. You could go around a little bit, and that would be about it. You mainly stuck with the story. It was a fairly linear game. Compared to the second one, which was actually really nice. You could go basically anytime you wanted, anytime you weren't focused on a campaign or a story-driven or a challenge-driven course. You were able to go out and explore the Hogwarts grounds. You were able to go out and explore the entire castle, top to bottom, except for parts that were closed off for specific storylines. And you were able to go out onto the grounds and look at all the beautiful greenery and all this different architecture and stuff. Third game, They tried to go for what the second one went for, but they went a little bit too far. They focused too much on exploration. They put too much work into the exploration and finding stuff, and not nearly enough work into the story. The Harry Potter games, I appreciate when games have that little element of exploration where you can find little goodies and get achievements or whatever. But I want a game where the gameplay is good and I have a story. There are some games like Doom or Quake where the story really doesn't matter, but it has really good gameplay to make up for it, and there's progression. Harry Potter, you don't get progression by collecting stuff unless there's some sort of focus to it. You're just collecting beans and buying stuff. You're buying wizard cards that we've seen most of them already. We're buying... I don't know what the hell else this other stuff was. We're finding secrets. There was too much exploration. There was too much exploration and not enough story. There was not enough game. There was not enough gameplay to make up for the exploration. When you have a game that's all about exploring and all of the... Here's the thing. All the exploration was... It felt too similar. You'd go over here and you'd find a secret. Okay, what's in here? Beans. You'd have a flag, and it'd pour out beans, and chocolate frogs, and cauldron cakes, and pumpkin pasties, and that would be it. You would find nothing else there. Maybe you'd find a wizard card once in a while if you hadn't already bought it from a vendor. But that's it. You didn't find anything that really kind of, oh, this is Easter eggy, or, oh, this is a reference to a prior game, or this is something to reference a future game, or something like that. They didn't have any of that. That dumbs down the exploration to nothing. It was so disappointing to see that. And that really kind of bummed me out later on as I was playing this Let's Play. So, yeah, I don't know what they were thinking with that. There was too much exploration and nothing else to compensate for it. There was too much, oh, let's go and explore! Let's find the castle and see the grounds, and there's nothing to find. There's nothing to find. Sure, things look pretty, but there's nothing to find. There's nothing interesting. There's nothing that engages you and makes you think, oh wow, I'm glad I explored here. You go here and you go find some place that's a secret, and it's like, oh, okay, I found the secret, now what? I got some beans and some things to purchase out of it. Big fucking deal. Pardon my French. Yeah, the exploration I think was the thing that bugged me the most. Now, one thing they also did, speaking of Birdie Bot's every flavor beans, pumpkin pasties, and cauldron cakes, was they focused a lot too on the shop and buying stuff. And oh my god, the bean overflow was just ridiculous. I felt like there was no end to how many beans and pumpkin pasties and cauldron cakes I could get. There was so many resources. That takes the fun out of scarcity. Scarcity is something that makes you go, oh, this is actually kind of valuable. You know, it gives you a comparison to thinking, oh, this is nothing, to, oh, I have a bean. A bean, this is valuable. Instead of saying, oh, here's 100 beans, here you go. Oh, you go 20 steps. Here's more! Here's more! Have more beans! Have more beans! Things have gotten expensive, but have more beans! No one cares! No. You make everything that you can purchase valuable. Not by how much it costs, but by how rare the thing to buy it with is. In the first two games, both of the first two games on the PC, beans were the only thing that you could purchase things with, and they were rare. You had to look to find them. Okay, they weren't rare, but you had this feeling of, I need to be careful with how much I'm spending because I might actually run out. This game, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, I never had that feeling. I had so many cauldron cakes. And as you saw, I went to the shop. I bought everything. And then I still found beans and pasties and cauldron cakes. There was so much. It was ridiculous. There was too much currency for too little to spend on. And there wasn't much variety in what to spend on either. Which was also kind of disappointing. And the whole paying for passwords? Who the hell thought that up? Seriously. I can understand that there are certain points in the game, and in the story, in fact, that are secret, and you can't open or access them without, okay, get password, sure, I'll find that. But that was the point of the Marauders map. The Marauders map had all the passwords. The Marauders map showed where everybody was. This game didn't have that. So, yeah. Too much money, not enough variety of things to spend it on. I don't want to pay for 80 frickin' cards. That's too many wizard cards. Don't. Okay? It's ridiculous. I like collecting stuff, but that's just too much. And the thing that bugged me the most was how you actually had to finish the game. You had to get 100% to beat the game. What? No! In a game like Harry Potter, you're supposed to beat the story to beat the game, not to collect everything to beat the game. This isn't collect everything. This isn't the Birdie Bot's Beans collection simulator. Okay? This is Harry Potter. We're supposed to be focusing on the story of Harry Potter. Speaking of the story again, where the hell was Hogsmeade? We never went to Hogsmeade. We never even heard of it. They may have mentioned it once or twice throughout the entire game, but we never went there. We never even had a conflict about it. There was so much they left out, and it was a huge disappointment to me. Because the whole thing with Harry Potter is you're going there for the story, you're going there for the atmosphere. Atmosphere was kind of lacking in this game too. But the story, where was the story? There was absolutely no story whatsoever. They covered the last 3 chapters. And that was it. You're supposed to cover the entire story in a Harry Potter game. You can leave some small stuff out, sure. But you don't leave out half of the damn story. You just don't do that. And that was another huge pet peeve, was the story, the exploration factor, forcing you to explore, actually. I want to enjoy exploring. I don't want to be pushed to do it, okay? Don't force me to explore. So, make the exploration fun. The exploration in this game was not fun to me. So I was... yeah. Secrets. This is one of the better points. They did a lot of work as far as how the secrets were. Finding secrets was actually kind of interesting because you do something that you wouldn't expect. You did have the copy-paste. You did have a lot of the copy-paste secrets where it's, oh, it's another flag or something, or something like that. But they actually made a lot of the secrets interesting. Some of them were quite fun to find and see, oh, this is how I got here, okay. But, again, there was nothing really in there to collect. It was just a secret. It felt kind of dry. So yeah, the secrets, okay. It was nice that there were a few of them, and I still missed a couple. I know that for sure. But, you know, that's cool. I'm happy with missing some of the secrets. I have no problem. Don't make me find all of them, though, okay? I'll go back through on my own time and find them later, if I'm really interested in the game and finding the secrets again. So, yeah. In my opinion, because this game forced the 100% achievement thing, this game has 0 replayability whatsoever. This game has no replayability at all, which is rather unfortunate. This game did have 3 mini-games. It had the Pixie Infestation, it had the Monsters Book of Monsters thing, and it also had the Buckbeak Flying Challenge, if you will. The Pixie game and the Monster Book of Monsters game pretty much felt the same. There wasn't really any variety whatsoever there. So that was rather boring. I mean, the first go around it was fun, you know, but after the 3rd or 4th time going through, it got stale. And I did the entire Pixie Challenge all the way through, and then I had the Monster Book of Monsters one. That felt like a tougher version of the same thing that I had played before. And not that much tougher to begin with. It wasn't that interesting. So, those 2 games kind of, whatever. I would have been perfectly fine if they had left them out altogether. Now, the Buckbeak Flying one, that was actually pretty interesting. The controls on that one, though, are a bit iffy. Once you get used to them, it's actually pretty fun. You can fly around, and it's really smooth until you hit those turns. Those turns. No, don't do that ever again. That was horrible. But anyway. Otherwise, it was actually fairly fun. You know, I enjoyed flying around with Buckbeak. I enjoyed having to figure out how I would keep my altitude steady so I could get through the next ring. And it was fun to go through the Forbidden Forest and see what there was in the environment. And it was also kind of funny to see when you stop flying, when Buckbeak lands, he's just kind of sitting there just like, what's up? But not being able to turn around, seriously, that is what a timer's for. That was the only thing that peeved me about that one. Getting used to that one, though, is a bit of a pain in the butt. I will not lie. There was, I'm pretty sure I mentioned that I had already gotten used to the controls and played it once before, since I lost some footage. And that was kind of how I wasn't stumbling around. Believe me, the first time around in that minigame was just, ugh. That was pretty bad. Getting used to the mechanics of that are pretty difficult. First time around. You get used to them, though, so no problem. Now, speaking of flying... Where the hell was my Quidditch? I had no Quidditch. I wasn't able to fly around in a broomstick. I had a cutscene. What the hell? I was looking forward to flying around and catching the snitch. I can understand the first game where you're flying around, okay, Dementors come out, and you fall to the ground unconscious. But I could still be flying around. I could dodge a few bludgers here and there. I could look for that snitch and go try and grab it. And then, you know, I get the grabbing thing, but all of a sudden, oh no, Dementors, you know, I lose the game. I fall down and I hit the ground. I caught the snitch, though, sort of. In my mind, I caught the snitch. And that would actually make more sense. That would make it more engaging than just a cutscene where Harry Potter's flying around doing whatever on his, Speaking of which, they never actually mentioned the fact that he was bought a Firebolt, did they? They never mentioned the fact that he lost his original Nimbus 2000. It broke. Yeah. They never mentioned that fact. They never mentioned the fact that he got a Firebolt. Not that I remember. They may have actually had that in there and I just forgot. But they never... You never had another Quidditch match. You never had a time where you could just go, I'm sailing on my broomstick, man. And this is the life. You never had that. So disappointing. Absolutely horrendous. Blasphemy. No. Now for the party system. In this game, the party system sucks. It's not terrible, but it's not mediocre either. It sucks. You have 3 people, one of each who learns a challenge, and then they're suddenly stuck to that specific spell because, like, the other 2 people didn't learn it or something. What the hell? Seriously? They're all in the same classes. They all learn the same spells, except for maybe Hermione, since she did double her classes. But it's ridiculous. Just, no. No. You should be able to switch out the characters as you need them, too, if they're going to do something like that. Not have them go, oh, by the way, let's switch now to Harry Potter, since he knows the... whatever the hell spell it was. I don't even remember at this point, because I don't care. Something... Glacius, that's what it was. Because he knows the Glacius spell, so we're going to switch to him now. And we can't switch to any of the other people to make the puzzles more complex and interesting. No, we can't do that at all. Why not? All you had to do was bind a key or 2 keys to switch to different people. Done. And you could have so many more... Sorry. You could have so many more variety in puzzles. That would have made so many of the things so much more interesting. So much more fun. But... it was gross. This game, man, was just... no. It was disappointing. The visuals were... okay, so they tried to upgrade the visuals. They did a pretty good job. But it lost some of its charm somewhere. I think it's with the color palette. If you watch the first 2 games, the colors in there are so vivid and bright. This game, there's... oh, okay. We'll just make everything look normal-ish. Boring. Plain. Boring. Some green here. A little bit of purple there. Everything seems pale and pastel and just boring. And let's not get started on the animations, because some of those are pretty fucking creepy. Let's not forget the also hilarious Let's not forget that Ron animation, too. All three of us! Oh my god, the facial expressions were just so weird. And that one girl telling us about the Pixie Challenge. You can do all this stuff, too. And you don't have the face to go with it. It's just the mouth moving. It's so goddamn creepy. There's so many problems with the animation in this game. It's not even funny. But yeah. So that's what I thought on the visuals. The bunny was the only thing that was cute, okay? The bunny was kind of cool. And they got the mechanics for that down pretty well. Like Buckbeak, however, the dragon flying was... no. The mechanics for the dragon were actually a lot worse than Buckbeak was. Buckbeak was kind of... I can't turn around in a 360-degree rotation, but I can fly. This dragon is just like, I can't turn at all unless I use the arrow keys, and then it's still this... There was a lot of issues as far as flying was concerned with the Draconifer's spell. And his hitbox was so damn big! I can understand clipping through some stuff, which actually did happen in this game, by the way. But it's just an hitbox. It's just like, you hit the tip of his wings and suddenly he's stuck. And you can't get off. It's just, ugh. Ridiculous. And please someone tell me, why did they put in final exams? All the effort that they put into the final exams could have been put into making the story more in-depth and interesting. But no, they had to make a really crappy set of final exams, one of where I don't know where the hell I was supposed to go with Ron Weasley. Okay, I jump into a pit and die. I made progress? What? That is not how this is supposed to work. Ugh. This game was bad on so many levels. No pun intended. Because there were a lot of ascending and descending in this game as well. Ugh. And my brain hurts thinking about all this. I was hoping to make a non-biased review, but I'm sorry, this game is just... no. I cannot talk about the bad things in this game without thinking about the other two games and thinking, this game, what were the developers thinking? Seriously. It was crap. I think I covered all the good points, unfortunately. Which says something about it. I kind of got off topic with the party system, didn't I? Why do we care about Ron and Hermione being with us all the damn time? Sure, we're taking all the same classes. And, well, actually, the party system it makes sense story-wise. But mechanics-wise, it doesn't make any sense. And they're talking too much. Everybody's talking too much. You're walking around just looking at everything and taking it in what there is. And Ron's like, oh, don't forget, we need to get to the next class. Speaking of which, their accents kind of suck, too. You know, the first two games, it sounded like they were doing pretty good accents. Like they actually had some British actors in there. This game, it sounded like we had American actors putting on British accents. No offense if the people were actually British, but I could not tell. I honestly thought it was Americans faking a British accent. I can do that, okay? And I'll suck at it, but I'm not voice acting for this game. So, there were too many things wrong with this game, and the voice acting, by the way, wasn't the greatest I've ever heard. First two games, it was pretty good. This game, Hermione's still, what, 15? She doesn't need to be sounding like an old lady. She doesn't need to be sounding like Professor McGonagall. Harry Potter and Ron Weasley don't need to be sounding like they're constipated all the time when they jump. So, yeah. Oh, there is something I forgot that was actually pretty cool, though. I did like the Glacius roller coaster thing. That was pretty darn cool. That was fun. And that's about all I can say. It was fun. But, yeah. So, overall, this game gets a crap review rating. I do not recommend this game to anyone out there. There are console ports, and apparently the console ports are all actually the same. It's just, for some reason, they decided to go with separate developers for the console ports and the PC version. Why they did that, I don't know, because apparently the console ports are better, including the first 2 games. So I'll have to check it. I'll probably end up doing those instead to get myself kind of a booster. I've heard the third game on console is actually excellent, which kind of blows in this case because I was really looking forward to this game on PC, but it's like, no, we'll be lazy. Maybe EA had something to do with it. Maybe it was just we were too damn lazy to actually follow the story. But, there were too many things wrong with this game, and I cannot forgive it for that. This game was an insult to the series in my eyes. It was blasphemous. So, 0 out of 10, never playing it again. If this was not in a 3-pack, and I knew how bad it was going in, I would not have bought this game. I already owned the first game too, so I could have bought the second one alone, and wouldn't have had to deal with this crap. I could have gone to an emulator and said, "Hey guys, this is the third game. By the way, it's on an actual console because I heard the third game on PC sucks." But no, I decided not to look into it because I don't like spoilers, and yeah. But somehow this game got better reviews on some sites than the first 2 games. I don't know where they're coming from. I thought this game was crap. But again, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I would not recommend this game. You can still go ahead and play it anyway. But if you have an Xbox or an N64, whatever the heck consoles this game came out on, try it on those, because I've heard it's a lot better. And I'm going to try it out myself on an emulator and see how that works. So, we'll find out. It'll probably be on my channel as a Let's Play, since this game was incredibly disappointing. And I've also heard that after this game, all the other games are made by EA. And they don't do a very good job gameplay-wise, but atmosphere and visuals are pretty good. And I think, as far as I know, according to at least 1 or 2 of my viewers, the story is fairly well developed. It's not great, but it's not quite as bad as this game was. So yeah. I've also heard bad things about the next game though, so I might not touch it. This game really doesn't make me want to continue the Harry Potter series, because this game was just so bad. It was so bad. I love the first 2 games. This game was crap. They took the first 2 games and ran it through a garbage disposal and said, "Hey, here's your next game." So yeah, anyway, that's my review of this game. It sucked, and I'm really disappointed, but I played it through. Oh well. At least it was a short game, so I didn't have to suffer for too long. So, I hope you all enjoyed this Let's Play despite all my complaints and my not getting into it and my rather lackluster commentary because of it. And maybe you'll enjoy this game yourself, I don't know. So, have a great day everyone. I will see you in the next Let's Play. Bye for now.